Be your friend, and we're going to be your partner, and we really appreciate your confidence and investment. That's your biggest investment that you've ever made, and we really appreciate it, and we're going to treat you very, as you should be, magnificently. And you're a magnificent man, and it's an honor to be with you.
My honor, Mr. President.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. شكرا شباب. دخل وسام.
نستأذن سموكم بالبدء. Your Highness, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, in recognition of President Donald Trump's exceptional efforts to strengthen the long-standing ties of friendship and strategic partnership between the United Arab Emirates and United States of America, I am honored to announce that His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan bestows the Order of Zayed upon President Trump.
Will you give me the honor, please? Excuse me, everyone, please.
Those visuals there that you saw is that of the Middle East tour for U.S. President Donald Trump meeting with his counterpart, and that is the President of the United Arab Emirates, the incumbent Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan. And right there you saw him being bestowed the highest honors in the land. We'll bring you more visuals for that, but in the meantime, let's continue with the news. We'll bring you news at this hour. We start with News Central Television, a town hall series that was held in another town, and this time in Rivers State, as part of its ongoing mission to amplify citizens' voices and hold power accountable. The event brought together stakeholders from various sectors to address the state's challenges, including the imposed state of emergency. Participants discussed the root causes of the crisis and proposed practical solutions aimed at restoring peace and stability.
Let's settle down. Ladies and gentlemen, please, let's settle down. Hold on. Ladies and gentlemen, remember we gave the rules. Remember we gave the rules. In our state and in Nigeria, not just now, governance has become personalized. And when the personalities, the expectations are no longer met, you see the pot begin to boil. Now the system is run by three pillars: the judiciary, the executive, and the legislature. There is checks and balances. But when these three structures have collapsed into one amalgam, then the checks and balances are dissolved.
At a point, there was a pressure, and we could feel the pressure from the utterances of people within the state. The former governor would make utterances, and those who follow him will make utterances. Those who follow the governor will also make utterances. But the utterances always bordered on one thing: who owns the state? Who leads the state? Who is in charge in the state?
We have lost sight of the fact that political disagreements in Rivers State were taken out of the context, and they began to delve into ethnicity, pursuing
ethnic agenda of domination. This exacerbated the crisis in Rivers State, where some persons who were friends disagreed, politically speaking, and those disagreements were supposed to be handled politically. But ethnic bigots, some persons started making ethnic rhetorics that led to division that deepened the crisis we have in Rivers State.
So what I can only say is let's give peace a chance, and the time is now. So at that point, may God bless us, guide us as we heal, support the healing in the name of Jesus.
The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board has admitted to a serious error in the just concluded 2025 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination, with over 379,000 candidates now required to receive the exam due to widespread technical failures and irregularities. The announcement has sparked outrage among candidates and education stakeholders who are demanding accountability and answers. News Central's Omolola Ololade has more in this report.
Emotions ran high at JAMB headquarters as Registrar Professor Oloyede broke down in tears during his media briefing, admitting that technical glitches, biometric verification failures and possible malpractices at some centers may have compromised the exam's credibility. In response to widespread public outcry, JAMB cancelled the affected result and announced a free receipt for over 379,000 candidates.
Accept the explanation I've given as the truth on this matter. I apologize and take full responsibility, not just in words.
Across Nigeria, the news was met with shock and disappointment. Many students who excelled in mock exams received scores far below expectations. The psychological impact has been severe, with reports that one affected student took their own life. News Central spoke to some candidates who shared their distressing experiences.
Immediately I saw my result, I was inside the room. I stood up from the bed. When I saw that the 175 they gave me, I went to the parlor, I started crying. So when I started crying, my mom, she entered, she was not like, what's making me cry? I said, and I showed her the result. She was like, eh? She was like, no, this is not a result. I said, yes, miss, I know this is not my result. My mom called me, she said, okay, what did you get? I was like, 140. She said, it's a lie, that you are joking. I was like, no, mom, I'm not joking. And I sent her evidence, screenshots, that this is my result. And she was like, damn, I'm still lying. Then I told my dad, he said, this is not your results.
There are no questions, only options, especially English. And if you do physics, some diagrams were not even clear for you to be able to see answers.
For parents, the situation has triggered mixed reactions. While some praised JAMB's honesty, others expressed anger, calling for sanctions, compensation, and more than just a receipt.
By the time she got to the venue, our center for her exam, they were told right there that this is not where they will be using for the exam. So each parent or whoever that follow them have to take another bus to another center. So if the child, that would have even destabilized the child.
However, education experts say the alarmingly high failure rate reflects deeper systemic issues within Nigeria's educational system.
Most schools do not get involved in the registration of JAMB, so they do not have the opportunity to coordinate the students effectively and making them cover syllabus. Such an attention they pay to WAEC and coverage, they don't pay similar attentions to JAMB.
JAMB is not a tea party. JAMB is quite difficult, more difficult than WAEC, and not many students are being taught rightly. A lot of them, just get to know the basic things, but by the time they get to JAMB, they meet more difficult, questions, and that is why you see all these centers thriving.
With some schools, students and parents threatening legal action against JAMB, legal experts have begun weighing in on the potential implications for the examination board.
There are those who are calling for the sack or the resignation of the registrar. We are not calling for that. We are saying that the exam should be set aside and that a compensation of 10 billion naira be paid to all these affected students. The reason we are doing this is because if we fail to hold this institution accountable, we will run into situations in future where JAMB may call for an exam, and on the day of that exam, it will say there is no exam whatsoever. We'll get to that point.
As university admissions hang in the balance, the big question remains, is this a win in the fight against malpractice or a glaring failure of Nigeria's education system? For now, millions of dreams remain in limbo. In Lagos, for News Central, Omolola Ololade.
Let's go back to River State, shall we, to Port Harcourt, where News Central just concluded another town hall meeting, this time to unearth and find out the root cause of the political crisis going on there, and also to speak to all parties involved. Well, let's go deeper, shall we, as we have a guest joining us. We bring in Higher King. He's a lawyer from Port Harcourt, capital of River State, and he joins us live on the news. Mr. Higher King, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate you for coming on. With the town hall now being held and done with, how closer have we moved to peace?
Well, I would say that it's closer. It's actually closer because I heard all the speakers and everybody was talking about peace. And some said that the both parties should lock themselves in a room and talk peace. For me, and I did not like how almost everybody there was calling Fubara his boy, his boy, his son, his boy, his son. I don't think so. I think the relationship between Fubara and Yes Wike is that of equal, that of political friends. That actually there is something Fubara is holding for Yes, and there is something Yes is holding for Fubara. If you look at both of them, let me tell you, in all this crisis, go and check all the videos or the voices. You will never see where Spain openly abuses Wike, or you will not also see Wike in the usual manner where he says useless, stupid. Wike has never abused him, and him has never abused Wike. It's actually the foot soldiers that are actually abusing each other. It's actually their followers that are actually abusing each other. I also noticed that a lot of people are taking the statement made by Fubara on Sunday at the service of song of the elder statesman that is not interested. Have you asked me? Just a question. The man was just asking a rhetorical question. He was fighting for me. Have you asked me whether I want to go back or not? So and today, Bridge said it was a political statement and somebody tried to say it's not and all that. But let me say this in all this, like I said in my opening speech here, both of them are political efforts. They can actually sit down and resolve these differences. There's actually nothing wrong about sitting down and resolving it. After all, we have heard Wike in the past that I will never be in APC, today is in APC, I will never be minister, today is a minister, APC is a cancer. We have heard all that. So I don't even take whatever the politicians are saying seriously. I don't take anything. Higher King does not take anything they say seriously, because I know they can say one thing in the morning and in the evening they will do a completely different thing. I have always said that Nigerian politicians, they don't do what is right, they don't do what is legal, they don't do what is constitutional, they don't do what is moral, they only do what is political. They only do what is political, and usually what is political is immoral, is against the law, is unconstitutional, is illegal. That is actually their stock in trade. They do political things, and most of the political...
Let me just ask you, given all that happened at the town hall, we noticed that both sides of the room, or either side of the room, there was some sort of a meltdown or a boiling point. As you can see, tempers were flared, and and it took other parties or other persons, individuals that had to step in to cool down tempers. I want to ask, you were also seated there in that room. What led to that altercation, so to speak?
Well, it was actually when somebody was speaking and trying to make some statements against some of the parties involved in the crisis, particularly about Nyesom Wike and all that, and his supporters got up and tried to defend him. That's actually what happened, because from the beginning there was the rule that said, look, let us not abuse any of the leaders, political leaders in Port Harcourt, in Rivers State. So some of them tried to make some comments, and at the end of the day, like gentlemen, the nerves were calmed and the discussion continued. Just that I myself, the discussion, I think going forward, I will ask New Central to extend the hours. The hours was not, when I spoke to your managing director and editor, he said it was supposed to be from 11 to 2 p.m. And if you look at 11 to 2 p.m., it's about 3 hours, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. It's not enough. It's not enough considering the issue at stake. Next time, I will expect that. I was thinking it's going to run till evening at 6 o'clock or something, but it did not. So I think more time to be given going forward. That's my own observation. But in all, everything that was said there, I also love what your editor tried to, your managing director tried to do at the end of the day. So he was trying to elicit commitment from followers, asking them, do you want peace? Do you want peace? Answer me. And most of them, almost everybody said, I want peace, I want peace. I mean, who will not want peace? Wike wants peace. Tim wants peace. The Tinubu wants peace. Everybody wants peace. There's nobody that doesn't want peace. Peace can only thrive in the atmosphere of peace. Nothing will happen when there is a crisis. Presently in Rivers State, businesses have collapsed. Politics has collapsed. Company has, even the banks, they are no longer seeing the money, because government is actually the only source of a fund in Nigeria, which is unfortunate. The private sector, we are not there. The private sectors are not there. Everything comes from government. Some people are even crying gratuities are no longer paid and all that. So they need to resolve this crisis. Actually, they need to resolve this crisis. And I know all of them want to resolve it. That's actually what Tim was saying on Sunday. And people misunderstood him. He said, look, stop. Stop war. Let's take it calm. That's actually what Tim was saying. He's not saying I will resign. He's not saying I'm not interested to complete my mandate. The mandate Tim is holding is not his mandate.
Mr. Higher King, I wish we had enough time. Like you said, you were talking about time, but the thing of the truth of the matter is that this is live television. We have to keep it moving as much as we can. But I must say thank you for taking out the time to join us and also to participating during the town hall. Thank you. Mr. Higher King, the legal practitioner, joining us live from the capital of River State, Port Harcourt. We switch gears now as the House of Representatives has called for the establishment of at least one computer-based testing center in each of the 774 local government areas of the country for the unified tertiary matriculation examination. The lawmakers made the resolution during plenary on Thursday following the admission by the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board that there were glitches in this year's examination. According to the lawmakers, the move would aid in forestalling future recurrence. The House also called for calm in the wake of JAM's admission to errors in the 2025 UTME and rescheduling resits for affected candidates. Last month, the Senate considered a similar resolution, saying there will be budgetary provisions in 2026 fiscal year for the establishment of CBT centers across the 774 local government areas of the country. Let's go on a short break, shall we? When we return, federal government vows no inch of Nigerian territory will be left to criminals. But the question is, how? We'll tell you all about this after the break. Join us again. And welcome back. The Department of State Services on Wednesday sued a former presidential candidate, Professor Pat Utomi, accusing him of attempting to illegally usurp President Bola Tinubu's executive powers by setting up a shadow government. In the suit, the DSS alleged that Utomi's actions pose a threat to national security and constitutional order. It also noted that the planned shadow government or shadow cabinet is an unregistered and unrecognized body claiming to operate as an alternative government, contrary to the provision of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999. The DSS also claimed that Utomi, through public statements, social media, and other platforms announced the formation of the body with the intent to challenge the legitimacy of the democratically elected government of Nigeria. And joining us now for more on this is Okiki Adeniro. He's a lawyer. He joins us live virtually, I beg your pardon. Okiki, many thanks for doing this with us. First off, let's start with how you personally classify a shadow government and what Nigeria law or the Nigerian law says about a shadow government.
Yeah, good evening. What I classify as a shadow government is it's just that it's a government that's works in a parallel way with the main government. So I'll explain that. Basically, a shadow government, it's such that they have the cabinet, they have the members of cabinet, they have exactly what the main government of the particular country is doing, right? So in this case, constitutionally, regarding Nigeria, it's not recognized, basically. Section 1, Section 1, 2, and Section 14.2 of the Constitution states specifically that there will be one government in Nigeria, and that is the elected government in Nigeria. So as we speak right now, the shadow government that is being proposed by Patutomi, right, can be classified as an unconstitutional, gathering of people. Although the Constitution provides, in Section 40, that we have rights to belong to an association, a public civil association, and other associations. But in this context, we have what is called shadow government. A government, basically would be in charge of so many things, policies and other things that pertains to the government. And in this case, what we'll see, right, if this is allowed, means that we'll see a lot of policies come from this shadow government, which probably might instigate some public, members of the public to take laws into their hands and do some things that might not be good at the end of the day. So I'll to just wrap it up. Basically, shadow government is a government that runs parallel with the main government of the day, and I feel that this is not, at this stage in Nigeria, is not what we need and not what we should have. Specifically, before I move to another point, specifically, this kind of government is being proposed in a parliamentary system of government. Well, what we have in Nigeria is not a parliamentary system of government. What we have, it's a democratic government, and nobody says that we can't have a public poll and public opinion group that can talk about what the government is doing and in fact put the government in check as an opposition. But to name it shadow government, the nomenclature is very wrong, and I feel that will instigate a lot of things which we shouldn't have.
I have to ask at this point, I mean, DSS now has a suit against Utomi, and one has to ask essentially from your submission, it means that they do have a case with this suit that they're filing against Dr. Utomi. In any way, would it affect the declaration of a shadow government in any way or shape or form? Would this suit affect the declaration of this shadow government?
Sure, it will. It will. The court has power to stop a particular thing in that sense, particular movement or particular action, right? I believe that now that this has been put before the court, right, one major thing that will be done will be an injunction, right, to stop the defendant from going ahead with what has been planned, And I feel that at this time, importantly, we need this to come to place to ensure that at least this is put to stop or probably, pause for some time, and let parties, even discuss this and see what it is. If it is to change the name or the nomenclature of the group, it's fine. But to have another government parallel to the main government, I feel that that will cause a lot of chaos in the country, which we do not need at this particular point. We are going through a lot of things now, specifically insecurity and other things, and we do not need this kind of issue to come up again. They can come up with another name and oppose some of the things or probably speak about the policies of the government is fine. But to have another government, I think it will be unconstitutional.
I have to ask, right, because you're saying that a shadow government can only work when it's a parliamentary type of government, and in this case, the UK, we see that in the UK, right, and other countries that have a parliamentary style of government or leadership. And so, with that being said, and you also said in your submission, you know, that if they were to go back to the drawing board and really change what this shadow government means, it would change, that would be acceptable. So what does that entail? What does that look like if they were to go back and change it? Because, I mean, from what Utomi has said and from what critics have said, is that it is an absence of a strong opposition who can speak truth to power and hold power accountable, hence why a shadow government is being built or why this entity is being created.
So the fact that there is no main opposition, you know, trying to speak truth in power, does not mean you should have another government, right? I believe that another step that can be taken, right, can be that the group of people can come together, form an association, a public opinion group, in the sense that they can always, you know, bring out opinions about the action of the government, policies of the government. You know, this particular group, you know, will be well respected in the sense that people can join, even individuals who are not even known as maybe politicians, you know, or who are not even known as, you know, a prominent person in Nigeria can join the group and, you know, speak truth to power, make sure that things are, you know, are put before the government, and in fact, put the government on their toes. But to have a shadow government and to name it a government, right, will be out of place, and, you know, it is basically unconstitutional. The Constitution only recognize one government, and that government is the elected government, you know, as we speak. Having a shadow government will just, you know, in a way, you know, cast shadow in the minds of the people and bring the people to, in fact, lower the respect they have for the main government. I mean, the government of we have in power right now.
All right. Okiki, I must say thank you for taking our time to join us. Okiki Adediran, he is a legal practitioner, joined us, give us a bit of insight following the DSS suit against Professor Utomi on a shadow, with the creation of a shadow government. The switch gears now, as Lagos residents have once again been tasked to report the collection of tenancy agreement fees exceeding the stipulated 10% to the appropriate authorities in the state. The special advisor to the governor on housing, Barakat Odunuga Bakari, who gave the charge, also cautioned against any breach of the state's tenancy law, which caps tenancy agreement fees at 10% of annual rent. She reminded all stakeholders that the legally approved maximum remains 10%. While acknowledging that the growing population of Lagos contributes to housing pressure, the special advisor noted that the government is actively engaging with stakeholders to find sustainable solutions to the challenge. It's a different story for residents of Katsina State as a fierce windstorm tore through parts of the state on Wednesday evening, leaving a trail of destruction across several communities. The storm, which followed the season's first rainfall, struck shortly after residents had observed their ash prayers. It lasted just 15 minutes, but the damage was immense. Hardest hit were neighborhoods within the Katsina metropolis, including Saboa, Angwawa, Moduji, Gabas. There's also Shinkafi, there's Kuka, Gasa, and Ambassador Quarters as well. Now, parts of Jibia local government area were also affected. Roofs were tipped or ripped over. Rafters flung across streets and buildings left in ruins, forcing families to seek shelter elsewhere in the midst of an already tough economic climate. No official casualty figures have been released so far, but residents say that storm's impact has been devastating. And off to Abia State in Umuahia South local government area of the state, where residents of Imu Ekule community are raising concerns over the ongoing reconstruction of the Umuakbara Road. Now, families in the area want the state government to intervene, warning that the project could pose serious risks on their lives. Chinwe Ogeli has more on this story. Take a look.
These buildings are now at risk, having been inundated by floodwaters 4 times since the reconstruction and expansion of the Umopara Highway began. According to the affected residents, the flooding began after the construction company blocked an existing waterway that had previously allowed for proper drainage.
The whole mini like this compound. Let's come back one have block Rugotani. Mini disturb by property they condemn.
The families say they have lost valuables to the flood, and even more concerning is the threat to their lives.
My neighbors me to fanny and your riberini, Utumna riberini, maybe to fanny, why you can one by this time last year, Naba. They
have now resolved to take steps to draw the government's attention to their plight.
Oh, 2 times or 2 on the gaze. Because I need in Yamaka, the government to Danyaka, Hana Ronga, no double the Maya. Here, my man, that I give you dying. Oh, no, I gave one. Amame Bemga Baga. Amame Bainga Baga. Gado and Batarano Senyamaka. Umwa. Labugetu, Webiko, I know I don't worry about also. Let us see.
People say the government cannot inflict harm on them while trying to do another good. The Abia state government will need to do something about this in order to protect the lives and property of the people of this community. Efforts to reach the State Commissioner for Works, Utumchere Oti, were unsuccessful as he did not answer phone calls to respond to the situation. Already the sky is misty and cloudy, and the people are totally petrified of what will happen if it eventually rains again today. In Omar here for News Central, Chinwe Ugele.
In a bold move to strengthen or tighten national security and reclaim Nigeria's forest lands from criminal elements, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved the establishment of a new Forest Guard unit. The announcement was made Wednesday by the President's Special Advisor on Media and Public Communication, Sunday Dare. According to him, the initiative is designed to flush out terrorists, bandits, and kidnappers who have turned Nigeria's 1,129 forests into safe havens. The recruitment and deployment of the forest guards will be handled through a joint effort between federal and state governments under the supervision of the Office of the National Security Advisor and the Ministry of Environment. Meanwhile, Nigeria's armed forces say they will tackle security threats across the country, particularly the resurgence of sporadic attacks on the northeast with the deployment of more equipment and troops. Nigeria's Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, assured of the readiness of the armed forces to stem this tide of the threats during his visit to Maiduguri. A member of the House of Representatives from Zamfara State, Aminu Jaji, has raised alarm over the escalating insecurity situation in the state, saying that communities in his constituencies have been placed under siege by bandits who kill, rob, and maim at will. Jaji expressed concerns over the worsening insecurity crisis and alleged that several individuals close to the president may not be providing him with accurate information on the true situation in the northwest region.
We need the government to do more in ensuring that this problem is being addressed, because our people are becoming vulnerable by the day. They are not having access to their farmland. The level of the economy is down because they are so much affected. We are so much devastated that no one can go to his farm and farm in order to have a way of living. Completely, the livelihood of the people of Zamfara State is upside down. And then anybody that went to Zamfara, he knows that the people of this are only moving around, not because of they know where they are going to, but simply because they just must move.
The House of Representatives has urged the Nigerian Police Force, the Nigerian Army, and other security agencies to intensify efforts in ending the spat of killings and kidnappings in Urodo, Jesse, Ethiopia West local government area of Delta State, South Nigeria. This followed a motion of urgent public importance raised on the floor of the House by lawmaker Eriataka Ibori Sono, who expressed concern over the loss of lives and displacement of residents in the affected communities. Ibori Sono also called for the provision of relief materials to support victims and families affected. The House further urged the Inspector General of Police to deploy a special squad to protect lives, restore peace in the area, and conduct a thorough investigation to identify and persecute the perpetrators, thereby delivering justice to the affected communities.
We need to rise to the occasion. We need to speak to our...
Now, two major milestones. One legendary man, veteran broadcaster Prince Bisi Olatilo, celebrates 50 years in broadcasting and 25 years of the Bisi Olatilo show, with dignitaries and royalty gathering at the Musan Center to honor a true media icon. News Central's Israel Iferobo reports.
It was a double celebration, sipped in legacy and prestige, as veteran broadcaster Prince Bisi Olatilo marked 50 years in the broadcasting industry, alongside the 25th anniversary of the Bisi Olatilo Show, BOS, a media platform that has become a staple in Nigerian households. Held in Lagos, the event drew an illustrious crowd of dignitaries, royalty and well-wishers who gathered to honor the man whose voice and vision have defined an era. Presiding as chairman of the occasion was former Minister of Foreign Affairs, General Ike Nwachukwu, retired.
You see, all these years, you have been such an icon, and I'm ever so proud to have known you. And I believe most of us here are proud to have known you. 50 years doing the same thing isn't easy at all, and being consistent.
The celebrants reflected on the journey over the last 50 years.
Today is not just about celebrating a personal milestone. It is about honoring a journey of passion, perseverance, and purpose that began over 5 decades ago. It was like just yesterday, when a young man filled with curiosity and deep love for the spoken and written word stepped into the world of broadcasting with nothing but dreams and a determination to succeed. And what a journey it has been, from radio studios to television sets. The story of the Bisi Olatilo Show, BOS, as we fondly call it, is the story of the Nigerian spirit, multilingual, diverse, resilient, and full of color.
Among the notable dignitaries in attendance was former Rivers State Governor Rotimi Amechi, who praised Olatilo's consistency and patriotism. The event was also graced by prominent traditional rulers.
May God bless you, bless all the works of your hand, honor you, see you through in all your endeavors. 50 years in your career pursuit. May God continue to keep you.
Extend our heartfelt prayers for Prince Bisi Olatilo. May he continue to thrive in good health, and may his life be filled with achievements that inspire future generations.
Throughout the evening, guests were treated to a blend of music, dance, and nostalgic reflections as friends, family, and industry colleagues celebrated a broadcasting career that has stood the test of time. Olatilo, visibly moved, took the stage to express his gratitude.
I have loved this journey. I have cherished every moment, and I'm eternally grateful to the Almighty God for the grace to stand here today. May the legacy of BOS continue to shine. We all continue to celebrate excellence, and may our stories, your stories, never stop being told. Thank you very much.
As Nigeria's media landscape evolves, the legacy of Prince Bisi Olatilo stands as a towering reminder of what dedication, integrity, and vision can achieve. In Lagos, for News Central, Israel Ifirobo.
You're watching news now on News Central Television. Coming up, Uganda faces rising tensions as the election nears. We'll tell you all about this after the break. Stay with us. Hey, welcome back. It's off to East Africa, where Ugandan General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, the son of the long-serving President Yoweri Museveni and widely seen as his potential successor, made headlines Thursday with a series of incendiary social media posts. Now, posting on X, formerly Twitter, the general warned that citizens who vote against his father in the upcoming polls risk deportation. In a separate announcement, the general also declared a ban on women in the Ugandan army from wearing trousers. A move already drawing criticism from rights groups and gender equality advocates. This comes amid growing concerns over political repression. Uganda's political climate remains fraught as the president, who has ruled since 1986, prepares for yet another term in office. A diplomatic, or rather bold diplomatic move in the Middle East. U.S. President Donald Trump has become the first American leader in a generation to meet with a Syrian president, pledging to lift crippling U.S. sanctions in exchange for steps toward normalization with Israel. For News Central, international correspondent Athia Hagen has more.
Ordering the cessation of sanctions against Syria in order to give them a chance at greatness.
President Trump met interim Syrian leader Ahmed al-Sharaa in Riyadh alongside Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman and via video link Turkish President Erdogan, key backers of Syria's new government following the ousting of Bashar al-Assad. Once a US most wanted jihadist, Sharaa now leads a fragile transitional government. Trump, speaking aboard Air Force One en route to Qatar, praised Sharaa as a tough guy with a strong past and said the two had a great meeting. While Saudi and Turkish leaders support Syria's re-entry into the international fold, Israel remains wary. Its government has stepped up military operations in Syria and expressed deep concern over any US-Syria thaw. Trump said Sharaa agreed in principle to join the Abraham Accords once Syria is, quote, straightened out. He also demanded the expulsion of Palestinian militants and the return of Islamic State detainees to Damascus. In Syria, news of sanctions relief sparked celebrations, especially in Aleppo, where business owners hope for economic revival. Trump landed in Doha, where he signed what is called a record-breaking jet deal with Qatar Airways, worth over $200 billion, including $160 billion in Boeing aircraft. But controversy surrounds Qatar's offer of a $400 million luxury aircraft for Trump's use, raising legal and security questions over foreign gifts for a sitting president. For News Central, I'm Afia Hagan.
In early trading on Thursday, South Africa's rand strengthening against a weaker dollar, trading at 18.22%, or rather 18.22 per dollar, making a 0.3% increase from Wednesday. This uptick follows confirmation of President Cyril Ramaphosa's upcoming meeting with U.S. President Donald Trump on May 21st. The presidency indicated that the meeting aims to reset the strategic relationship between the two nations, strained since Trump's return to office. Meanwhile, testing and monitoring of HIV patients in South Africa have significantly declined. Investor focus is also on March's mining and gold production figures set for release at 0900 GMT, where economists anticipate a 15th consecutive contraction due to challenging domestic conditions and a sluggish global economy. The 2025 government bond yield remained steady at 8.945%. Chinese cobalt smelters are reportedly well stocked with the essential battery material, even after the Democratic Republic of Congo imposed a 4-month export ban in late February. At the Cobalt Congress in 2025 in Singapore, Shirley Wang, the general manager at Shanghai Metals Market, noted that downstream users in China have stocks that could last from 2 weeks to 6 months, while large-scale users hold 6 months' worth of inventory. Some smaller companies may face higher spot market prices due to limited supplies. The ban has driven cobalt prices up to approximately $16 per pound, compared to $10 at the end of 2024. Wang anticipates a continued overflow or oversupply in the cobalt market, predicting 2025 production will reach 327,000 metric tons, exceeding demand by 73,000 tons. Bayelsa State Governor Diri has awarded over 14 million naira to athletes from the state who excelled at the All-African Wrestling Championship in Casablanca, Morocco. Gold medalists received 2 million naira each, silver medalists received 1 million naira, and bronze medalists received 700,000 naira. The team coach was awarded 2.5 million naira. At a reception in Yenagoa, Governor Diri praised the athletes for bringing pride to both Bayelsa and Nigeria. The team, all natives of Bayelsa, were presented to the governor by Dr. Daniel Igali, who is the Commissioner for Sports Development for the state, who commended Diri's continued support. Liverpool are ready to trigger the release clause of Bayern Leverkusen's Jeremie Frimpong as they close in on their first summer signing. The 24-year-old, who can play across the right side, that's the right-hand side, is wanted by fellow Dutchman Arne Slot for next season's campaign, and talks towards a deal have progressed in recent days. Frimpong's release clause is understood to be in the region of 35 million euros, with Liverpool expected to meet that figure. Now, if the Premier League champions can complete a move for the Netherlands international, it could help soften the blow of losing Trent Alexander-Arnold, who is set to join Real Madrid when his contract expires at the end of the season. I could just be a footballer in another life. Well, that's all we can take at this hour. Now, do remember they can send us your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number on the screen. And while you're at it, make sure to follow us on social media. We're at News Central TV on all social media platforms. You can always watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422 or on Star Times channel 274. Find us on Apple TV Or better yet, you can stream us live on YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Judith TV. Bye for now.